everybody, it's Amy and Dee Dee. We're back in the kitchen again and we're looking forward to Valentine's Day. And we have something special for you to make your special loved ones. It's going to be a flourless chocolate cake, a little bit unique. No white flour, no white sugar, so that's what we aim for. It's a little bit healthier alternative to those sweets. So
yes, and this one actually it calls for 3 ingredients. I'm adding a 4th because I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla to it. So it sounds unusual, but again, there's no flour. It's made with chocolate chips, eggs, butter, and I'll put just a little bit of vanilla in it. So let's get started. This one takes a little bit of time to make, but in the end, it's so worth it. It's a very, very rich, decadent dessert. So I'm going to have Amy go ahead and measure out. We need 2 sticks of butter, and we need 2 cups or 1 pound of chocolate chips. Now this one, since we're not adding additional sugar to it, you can make it a little sweeter by using semi-sweet chocolate chips. We've opted to use the 60% because there's more flavonoids and dark chocolate is a little healthier for you. You can use the pre-made chips, you can use bar chocolate. These nutrients are identical, so we're just going with the chips for ease sake. So go ahead and we'll get these. You want to cut your butter up into smaller chunks so that it melts evenly and a little more quickly.
Should you actually be doing this as you're doing this?
Yes, and that is something. There's some steps to this going. So what you want to do is also have, we need 8 eggs. You want to put them in a stand mixer. If you don't have a mix master, I mean, this is ideal because these need to beat for about 5 minutes. Otherwise, you can use a hand mixer. It's just a little bit longer for you standing there. And you want these to get kind of foamy. So let me show you how they look. I've already pre-made these for time's sake. These are not going to get real fluffy like a meringue, like you would egg whites, because there's fat in there. So, but they will get kind of foamy. Okay, so that's how we want these to look.
And I need to microwave this?
Yes, and these we're going to microwave for about 1 minute first. And then we're going to go 30 seconds. We're going to stir in between. The thing you don't want to do with the chocolate is overcook it. It will burn and you'll have to throw the whole batch out. So we're going to go slowly with it and let that butter melt down and stir the chocolate around, and you'll see how to do that. Now, so while we're waiting for that, I also have a tea kettle on, because we're going to have to, I put that on to boil, and we're going to need that hot water for baking, and I'll show you that in a few minutes.
I've learned something new, because I've never heard of giving your, what is it called?
A water bath.
A water bath
you need a water bath, and that's how you would bake a cheesecake in the oven and things like that, but I'll show you all of that in just a minute.
Something new.
Yes, something new. See, we're always learning new things. So meanwhile, I'm going to get my pan ready. We're going to need a springform pan. If you have one of these, usually an 8-inch. I already pre-made my 8-inch, so this was a little bigger. It's fine. It's just my cake will be a little thinner, but this is the type that you use where the bottom comes out. And I had pre-cut some parchment paper so that the dough won't stick here, the cake won't stick in the bottom, and I've sprayed all of this with cooking spray. Let me put this back together. So my pan is ready, and the other thing I have to do to prepare for the water bath is I have to wrap the bottom of the pan with foil. So I'm going to, you don't want water to get into your pan, so I'm just going to put the pan in the middle and just simply fold this up around the sides carefully. You don't want to rip a hole in it. So that's all there is to it. It's not too hard, it's just a few extra steps there. So now my pan is ready for our batter.
For our bath.
For the bath. Nothing like a hot bath on a cold winter day. And so, and now as you can see, the chocolate.
1 minute and 30 seconds.
Amy's just going to keep stirring. You can see some of the chocolate isn't quite melted yet, and that's okay.
It's better to be like that, probably.
Yes,
to
because
burn it.
again, if you overcook it, you're done.
And note this fabulous spatula.
Yes, these spatulas are great. They're heat resistant, and they're really long handled. They're great for cooking.
Now, what are we doing? Adding the eggs to this?
No, the egg. Yes, we will. But first, we want to add a little bit of vanilla. I like vanilla, so I'm going to add a little bit of that in there. Yes, and we'll incorporate that first. And this we want to stir around a little bit. Typically, actually, you want this to cool a little bit. We don't want to cook our egg when we put it in there. That would give it a very different texture, but
that's okay. We can wait a second.
We can. So again, here's my foamy eggs.
And the butter and chocolate chips and vanilla.
And so what we want to do is incorporate this a little bit at a time, and we don't want to overbeat it. So I'm going to put about 1/3 of this in there. If you can scoop some of that in there, Amy. Okay, and then just you don't want to whip it because you want to keep the fluffiness of the eggs so that our cake will be light. So we'll just.
What do you think?
Yeah, we just have to kind of. This part takes a little bit of, not too long, but a little bit of patience. Again, you just don't want to whip it up. You just want to keep that foaminess. All right, here's some more. So again, this sounds like it's really strange, but it is delicious. It is very rich, and it's a little different. It feels lighter. So that looks great, Amy, because you want it just mixed. You see how
thick, yes.
It's thick, but it's light.
It almost looks like a batter, like a regular batter with
and it's
flour.
still kind of fluffy. So let's go ahead and pour that in here. And I'm going to get the water bath going. So a water bath is you're taking, what it is you take your pan and you set it in a larger pan in the oven with water around it. It could be a baking sheet, it could be, but you want something a little more depth. I have this skillet. I'm going to let this, get this a little even. I'm going to set it right in here. And I don't have a lot of room here, but I want room to pour the water. But before we pour the water, we're going to put it in the oven first so we're not trying to carry hot water over to the stove. So let's get this in the stove, in the oven. Sorry. Can we move the rack to the lower level, please? Okay, so, and you might pull the rack out. there, because we don't want to burn stuff. Okay, so I have that in there, and we're going to take our tea kettle, and we're just going to carefully pour this around. I don't want it to get into the batter, but I'm going to pour it up to about halfway around the pan. Okay, and then we'll carefully put that in.
Okay. And we cook it 325
for about 25 minutes. 22 to 25 minutes. Okay, so our cake has baked, and when you take it out, you're going to be careful to get it out of that water bath, and you want it to just set at room temperature and come to room temperature a little bit to settle and set up. Then we're going to refrigerate it until it's time to serve. So let's take this out and see what it looks like. You know you're all anxious to see what does that look like. So as you see, it's kind of like it looks like brownie on the top and slightly done around the edge. So I'm going to open this pan. Okay, and we're going to dust that with powdered sugar. We want to do that over here. Okay. There you go. You could do a lot of things with the top. You could leave it plain, you can dust it, you could put whipped cream on it, you know, when you serve it, little dollops.
Oh yeah, that would be really
That would be good too. This was just a quick and easy. We can go ahead and slice a piece. What you do is you cover that up with berries, and then who will know, right? So So there's a little bit of color for your Valentine's Day. And there you go.